Present Yobe North. Mr. President, let me commend our President of the Federal Republic for presenting this very important budget estimate. And in my contribution, I would like to start by quoting one of his statements. And I quote, Mr. President yesterday said, security is the foundation of all progress. And I agree with him completely. Any other thing could easily fall in place when we are secured. Mr. President, defense and security is getting 4.91 trillion naira. To my mind, this is not even enough. But given the paucity of funds that we face, we can say there is a significant improvement over what we had for 2024. Mr. President, the Committee on Defense went on oversight to Kaduna last month, and we visited DICON, the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, DICON was established in 1964, 60 years today. But its contemporaries in Brazil, in Pakistan, today can produce fighter jets. DICON is still struggling to manufacture bullets. I believe that when Mr. President says that we are going to deploy technology and other technical and digital means of fighting insecurity, then DICON should be at the center of it. Mr. President, we should be able to make it possible for DICON to produce the kind of equipment, machinery, and platforms that we need in this country. And we have the people who can do that. We have very well-trained technicians and technologists. Mr. President, I believe that Nigeria has suffered enough in the hands of countries where we wanted to import our platforms or our aircrafts. We recall that in the last administration, Nigeria paid for about 12 fighter jets from a certain country. And we paid heavily. But alas, when those aircrafts were finally imported to Nigeria, we were not given every aspect of what we needed to use them to fight insecurity in Nigeria. So we are halfway. The only way to go is to have our own DICON functioning. Finally, Mr. President, because it says 2 minutes, we must commend our armed forces, but we must continue to demand for better and improved performance.
When I was in the trade unions, we used to question why government should devote so much resources to defense at the expense of education, healthcare, infrastructure. But over the past couple of years, given all that we have faced as a nation with regards to insecurity, I am now convinced, more than ever before, that none of those other important sectors can be safe unless we have security. And therefore, like all those who have spoken before me have said, I can't question why defense should have a lion's share of the budget. But the lessons we have learned since we assumed duties here is that budgetary provisions alone will not translate to the kind of outcome Mr. President spoke to, namely that our defense policies or management of our defense procurement should be guided in a way as to lay more emphasis on technology and have a much more smart, robust, and effective defense system. This will require that our defense committee, which happily is chaired by the immediate past Senate president, that our defense people need to be refocused. Even the issue of the defense, because I live in Kaduna, we find at Daikon, at a point, Daikon was producing furnitures. And in Kaduna, it was a joke of the town that people who, an institution set up to manufacture arms, at the same time, a similar institution was set up in Brazil. Why Brazil are now manufacturing evil jets? Defense industries, Kaduna was producing furnitures. I'm not sure exactly what they are doing now. But just to say that my experience has taught me that throwing money at people without ensuring that they use the money strictly for the purpose for which it was appropriated can always lead to what I call goal displacement, replacing popular goal with what is convenient to those who are charged with the responsibility of managing resources that are appropriated for them. I also believe that the right emphasis was placed on health, on education, etc. I don't think any of us here will question those, because over the past 1 year, I can't count how many universities and how many colleges of education or how many technical skill acquisition we have set up. All of those will require resources to fund if they are signed into law. The key issue, Mr. President, that I think our Senate, particularly with reference to our Finance Committee, are chaired by Sani and Abiru and others, I want your attention. This time around, the Senate, through your committees, must ensure that the budget is based on 1,500 naira to the dollar. Everything must be done to ensure that the naira is protected. The purchasing power parity of the naira today, in my view, is grossly undervalued. The naira can buy in Nigeria much more than a dollar can buy in US. And to remove speculation from our economy, leading to hyperinflation, Nigeria needs to be certain that nothing will make the naira depreciate any further. That will require that the Senate committees, as appropriate, working with CBN, monetary authorities, and the fiscal authorities, must guide jealously this figure. We should take them as a decree, just to emphasize my concern about it, that nothing should make the dollar fluctuate further, so that there will be price stability